Good morning and welcome again to our monthly corner with Wareg, the Association of European Water Regulators. I'm Cristian Minelli, coordinator of Wareg Secretariat, and today we are pleased to talk with Hugo Pacheco, chairman of the Water and Waste Regulatory Authority of Azores Islands. The water regulator of Azores, ERSARA, and Mr. Pacheco has been a member of Wareg for a long time now. And Hugo was recently elected in the Wareg board as vice president. So welcome, Hugo, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, Christian. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for this opportunity to speak with you about the regulation in the ROP.
Thank you. I will immediately start with a general question, Hugo, about the regulator of Azores Islands. Could you please introduce its mission and competencies?
Well, it's very simple to explain. ERSARA is a multi-sectoral regulator established in 2010, 10 years ago, and with actuation limited geographically to the archipelago of Azores. Actually, we regulate around 90 entities, separated in public entities in the case of the water sector and in the public, and private entities in the case of the urban waste sector. We have two main missions, and it's easy to explain too. The first mission is the regulation of the water supply sector, the wastewater sanitation sector, and the urban waste sector. The second main mission is the authority for the water quality. And with this mission, ERSARA is responsible to ensure the quality of the water used for the human consumption in all ERSARA territories, so to whole archipelago of Azores.
Thank you, Hugo. What do you think are the biggest challenges ahead in the water and wastewater sector that ERSARA has been facing recently?
Well, isn't easy to answer to that question. Like you understand, and the other regulators and the stakeholders know, the regulation and in this particular case of the water sectors and urban waste sector, the challenge are many and are changing every day. In our case, and if you let me, I will elect two biggest challenges. The first is, of course, our territorial discontinuation. Like I told you, we regulate one archipelago, and we are composed by 9 islands, divided in 3 groups. We don't have bridges between the islands, so this situation obligates us to previous planifications to establish contact with all entities and to audit every year the entities regulated. And this is the one of the biggest challenge. The second biggest challenge is the size of each entity. Well, for example, we have small entities responsible to supply water to around 400 inhabitants, in the case of the smallest island, the Corfu Island. And we have entities responsible to supply water to around 68,000 inhabitants. So the difference between entities is huge in the same times. And this is it's not just a difference of size of entities. It's a difference of size of human resource available, or the technical resources, or the technical knowledge to that size. So probably is the second biggest challenge is the size of the each entity is regulated.
You mentioned that the control of water quality is one of the main objectives in ERSARA's mission. Can you briefly explain how regulation can help achieve this goal?
Of course, I will try to be short in my answer. The competences of the authority to the water quality was our first challenge in 2010 when we started. In fact, when we started, the water quality in Azores was a problem. For example, for our KPI, the safety water, just around 95% of the water distributed as a good quality to human consumption in 2010. And we are talking about in average values, so we have values below that level. And in this aspect, is important to explain our scale for the water quality. Quality below 95% is a poor result for us. And to have a good result, it needs at least 98% to be a good result. So it's very exigent, the values in our case. And because of that, we established a plan to increase the water quality in 2010 in accordance with the Drinking Water Directive. And after we prepared that characterization, after many visits to each entities, and we identified the problems of the systems. And after that, we try to elect the tools to improve the water, the quality of the water. Actually, we have an annual regulation cycle for water quality. This annual cycle started, of course, with the rules established in the directive for the drinking water, and all entities responsible by the water supply for human consumption submit an annual program to monitor the water quality in each municipality territory. After that, after the approval of the plan by us, the entity implemented the program, and ERSARA monitoring the implementation, and we accomplished the program, auditing the entities with health authority too. Finished the implementation of the annual program for the monitorization of the water quality. The ERSARA prepared and published the annual report with the benchmarking of the results. In my opinion, with this regulation and with this kind of approach, we increase the results of the water quality. And to understand better what I'm talking, now in the archipelago of Azores, for that KPIs, the safety water, the average values is 99%. And actually, if we comparing the results of Azores with the results of Portugal mainland, or with the other archipelago of Portugal, the archipelago of Madeira, Azores actually is the region with the best results for this KPI, the safety water. So we increase a lot our water quality, and this is the challenge for us in the last 10 years.
Thank you, Hugo. Azores Islands are a region that is far away from mainland Portugal, we know. Having a regional regulator there looks fundamental for the governance of the water sector. Could you please explain how you managed to improve water quality indicators for human consumption in your region?
Well, it's more or less 2,000 kilometers to the mainland, so we are very far. Well, I cannot. I need, of course. I cannot. It's not fair if I didn't recognize the efforts made by each supply entities and for each regulated entities during the last 10 years to improve the results of each sectors. However, I recognize the financial support programs created by us with a part of the regulation taxes collected, like a big step to implement new goals, of course, and new results. For example, in the water treatment, we create programs to implement water treatment in the majority of the areas of Azores, and with those programs was possible to implement another tools in the each regulators. I spoke about the water disinfection, but it was important to improve another performance indicators. For example, the knowledge of the water leakage is one example, or the implementation in the infrastructure asset management for urban water system is another KPIs. What we create programs to improve the knowledge about this, and at the same time is developed by ERSARA. Advertising campaigns, improving consumers' confidence in the tap water, in prime time of the TV channels, in the board magazines, the planes and the ships, and we use, of course, advertising campaigns in outdoors. I think it's tools to improve the results of each KPIs in the sectors.
Thank you, Hugo. Very interesting. And now, looking, making a step into the future, looking at the next 10 to 15 years, considering how climate change is affecting natural resources, and also considering the UN United Nations Strategic Sustainable Development Goals, what do you think could be the biggest challenges for water supply in Azores?
Well, of course, the climate changes are not, I cannot say a new challenge, but it will be a big challenge for the next years and for the future, of course, and probably we need to rethink all the sectors. But in my opinion, of course, keep the high levels in terms of water quality and increase the confidence of the consumers in the tap water are the biggest challenge for the next years. We cannot forget the importance of the confidence in the tap water to reduce, for example, the consumption of the water in bottles, plastic bottles is the majority of the cases. And this is included in the changes approved by the European Commission. This is important in the end of the last year on the recast of the drinking water directive. More tap water is less bottles, and less bottles is less plastic in the planet. And probably this is the huge contribution of the waters sector for the circular economy. And we need to put the eyes in probably the next 10, 15 years in these, more confidence in the tap water to reduce the plastic in the planet. It will be the one of the biggest challenge for the next years.
Thank you. ERSARA as being a member of Wareg since several years now, how do you see Wareg's contribution in Europe to improving water quality?
Well, we started our participation in Wareg in the second General Assembly, like you remember, in Lisbon in 2014. And we made it because we recognize the importance of the One Water Regulators network to increase the quality of all service in Azores through the sharing of the best practice implemented in other countries. And we learn a lot with the sharing of the best practice. In the case of the water quality, we can reinforce this opinion. It's important to remember the task force created to emission of the common position about the recast of the drinking water directive. I was the chairman of that task force, and it was a pleasure. We started our functions in the General Assembly in Sofia in May of 2018, and we are composed by 18 Wareg members. Was a huge task force, and we implemented one survey. We collect opinions of the majority of the members of Wareg. We propose a report, and we approve the common position in last 1 year in the General Assembly of Montenegro, and it was a huge contribution for the actual new directive for the drinking water, and that showed the importance of the Wareg to collect information, to share best practice of each countries. And with that, we can increase all to reach the best sector for all Europe.
Thank you, Hugo. In fact, with your support back in 2018, we started to play a bigger and bigger role in our relations with the European Commission, and to promote the role of regulation on the drinking water directive at that time. And now in Wareg, we are keen to cooperate on urban water and wastewater issues, maybe looking at the possible reform of this directive in the future. As a chair of this task force, work on water and wastewater key performance indicators that you contributed to create, how would you see the objectives that Wareg should take forward?
Well, like you said, it's the new task force inside of Wareg, and we are trying to prepare this new challenge, the probable new directive for this sector. The wastewater is the important sector inside of Wareg. That's why we approve this task force inside of the board of the Wareg. Is a baby task force. We started in the beginning of this year. We organized one meeting with many Wareg members. We have a couple of the main goals. The first is to collect information of all Wareg countries, trying to make a point of situation and prepare with that information a report with the KPIs used in each country for this wastewater sector. And the second goal is prepare a board of Wareg KPIs for the future for the wastewater sector, and in the future to collect data to fill that KPIs and show to the Europe how the regulators deal with these important sector issues and in each countries of members of the Wareg. But we are in the beginning of this task force. We are trying to collect that information, but I think it's a task force with a long future, not only to prepare these information, these reports, but probably with a long term of life, because if we establish that board of KPIs, we will start probably monitoring the results of each country.
Many thanks again to Hugo Pacheco, Chairman of the Water and Waste Regulatory Authority of Azores Islands and Wareg Vice President, for another brilliant interview and the possibility to promote the role of Wareg. Remember to visit our LinkedIn page and to subscribe to Wareg newsletter at the link below. And see you next month. Thank you, Hugo.
Thank you very much, Christian.